Dear child, that sting in your chest did not come from nowhere, dear heart. You noticed the change in tone, the conversation that went quiet when you walked in, the message that felt shorter than usual, the look someone gave you that made your stomach tighten. And since then, your mind has been filling in the blanks. Did they say something about me? Did I do something wrong? Am I being misunderstood when I am not even in the room? Beloved, I know how quickly that kind of uncertainty can spread through you. It can make an ordinary day feel unsafe. It can turn small moments into evidence. It can make you read faces, replay words, and question your own memory. You have been carrying that uneasy mix of hurt, embarrassment, and quiet anger. Not loud anger. The kind that sits low, under the ribs, because part of you wants to defend yourself, and another part is afraid that defending yourself will only make things worse. Precious one, being discussed without your full story present is painful, especially when you have tried to be fair, especially when you have tried to be kind, especially when your heart has already been tired, and now this lands on top of it. So I will not tell you to pretend it does not matter. It matters because words can bruise even when they are spoken out of your hearing. Reputation, belonging, and trust touch deep places in a person. And when those feel threatened, the body knows it, the mind knows it, the soul knows it. My child, before you decide what this means about you, come closer to what is true. Other people's conversations are not always accurate. Other people's opinions are not always informed. Other people's reactions are not always clean. Sometimes people speak from envy, sometimes from discomfort, sometimes from their own fear, sometimes because uncertainty makes them careless, and sometimes, dear one, they repeat a partial story until it begins to sound complete, even to them. That does not make it right, but it does mean their words are not a final verdict over your life. Loved one, you have been tempted to hand your identity to a room you cannot enter, to let private conversations decide your worth, to let imagined criticism become louder than what is steady and true about you. That is a heavy burden, because once your peace starts depending on what everyone may be saying, rest becomes nearly impossible. You begin scanning, measuring, second-guessing, editing yourself before you speak, rehearsing explanations for accusations that may not even be fully real. And even if some of it is real, that still does not mean you must surrender your center. Beloved family, we may not always have the words to fully express it, but we deeply honor those who have supported this mission. Your generosity carries purpose. May God remember your kindness and bless you in His perfect way. Beloved, hear me carefully. You do not need to chase every whisper. You do not need to answer every rumor. You do not need to collapse because someone formed an opinion without understanding your heart. There is a difference between being teachable and being controlled by what others speculate. That difference matters now. Dear heart, if there is something for you to make right, I will guide you toward it. If there is a conversation that needs honesty, I will steady you for that too. If there is a correction that would bring peace, I will not hide it from you. But fear is a poor interpreter. When fear takes the lead, everything starts to sound like condemnation. Everything starts to feel like exposure. Everything starts to point toward shame. So slow the rush inside your thoughts. Not every uneasy silence is proof against you. Not every changed mood is betrayal. Not every mention of your name is destruction forming. Precious one, I know the older wound this touches. This is not only about today. There were other moments, weren't there, when you felt left out of the story being told about you. Times when people assumed, times when they labeled, times when they repeated what they did not truly know. And because those moments left marks, this present ache feels larger than a single incident. It is pressing on more than one bruise. That is why your reaction has felt so intense. You are not simply overreacting. You are feeling today and yesterday at the same time. Sweet soul, Let me separate them gently. This moment is real, but it is not every moment. This pain is present, but it is not all that is true. What someone says in a corner does not become the whole sky. Do not hand over the weather of your inner life to every passing storm. There may be noise around your name. There may be confusion. There may be unfairness. But there is also a deeper knowing that does not tremble with every opinion. That deeper knowing is where I want to meet you. My dear one, I know the urge to explain yourself before anyone even asks, to over-clarify, to become extra pleasing, to shrink your personality so no one has more to discuss, to monitor your tone, your choices, your presence, until you barely feel like yourself. That is what fear does when belonging feels threatened. It bargains with your authenticity. It says, if you become smaller, they may become kinder, but shrinking will not heal what gossip wounds. And self-erasure is too high a price for temporary approval. Loved one, your dignity does not disappear because someone else spoke loosely. Your character is not undone by a careless version of your story. Your value does not rise and fall with each human mouth. If there has been misunderstanding, truth has a way of standing longer than distortion does. It may not happen instantly. That part can be hard. You want resolution now. You want your name cleared now. You want the room corrected now. But not every wrong word must be chased down to keep your life intact. Some things fade because they were never built on substance. Some things are exposed by time, consistency, and calm. Beloved, there are moments when silence is wisdom, and moments when silence becomes self-abandonment. I will help you know the difference. You do not need to react from panic. You do not need to strike back because you feel wounded. You do not need to punish yourself either, searching for some flaw that would explain why this is happening. Sometimes people speak because they are uncomfortable with what they do not control. Sometimes your steadiness troubles those who build connection through suspicion. Sometimes your absence gives insecure people a stage they should not have. This is not always about you in the way your fear suggests. My child, come out of the courtroom inside your head. You have been trying to prosecute, defend, and sentence yourself all at once. That is exhausting, and it keeps your heart under a weight it was never meant to carry alone. Set aside the rush to determine everything tonight. You may not know yet what was said, who said it, or how much of your worry is fact and how much is old pain trying to protect you. That uncertainty is difficult, but uncertainty does not require self-destruction. Dear heart, what is needed first is steadiness. Steadiness before response. Steadiness before assumption. Steadiness before confrontation. When your inner world settles, discernment becomes clearer. Then you can notice whether this is something to address directly, something to release from your grip, or something to simply outlast with quiet integrity. That kind of clarity does not grow well in panic. Precious one, I do not ask you to become numb. I ask you to become anchored. An anchor does not stop the water from moving. It keeps you from being carried away by it. That is what I want for your heart right now. Not denial, not hardness, anchoredness. The kind that says, yes, this hurts. Yes, this may be unfair, but I will not let this decide who I am. Beloved, if part of what is being said contains a fragment of truth, you do not have to fear that either. A person who is willing to learn is not destroyed by correction, and a person who is innocent is not protected by panic. So you are safe to be honest, safe to reflect, safe to ask, is there anything here for me to understand? That is maturity, not weakness. But after that, do not keep digging for punishment. Do not turn one hard possibility into a total rejection of yourself. That is where fear lies. Loved one, I know the loneliness of feeling discussed instead of understood. It creates a strange ache. You are present, yet distanced. Known by name, yet not known in heart. That ache can make you wonder whether you truly belong anywhere that requires human closeness. But hear this gently. The wound of being misread must not become permission to lock every door inside you. Not everyone will handle your story carelessly. Not every room is unsafe. Not every relationship must be approached with suspicion. What happened, or what you fear is happening, deserves tenderness, but it does not deserve to become your whole way of living. Sweet soul, you have spent enough energy imagining scenes you cannot verify, enough time giving your peace away to a conversation you were never part of, enough hours turning over possibilities until your body grew tired and your spirit thin. Now come back to what is actually in your hands: your honesty, your conduct, your tone, your boundaries, your willingness to address what is necessary without becoming consumed by what is hidden. That is solid ground, and solid ground is kinder than suspicion. My dear one, I know you want to protect your name. That desire is human, but there is a deeper protection than managing everyone's impression. It is the quiet strength of living truthfully enough that your life speaks even when rooms murmur. This does not mean you never clarify. It does not mean you never speak up. It means you do not hand the steering wheel of your soul to public opinion. You remain inwardly held while deciding what deserves a response. Dear heart, if someone has wounded you through careless speech, you are allowed to feel the pain of that. You are allowed to acknowledge that it was unkind. You are allowed to step back from people who trade in distortion. You are allowed to become more discerning about where your tenderness goes. That is not bitterness. That is wisdom with boundaries. Beloved, do not become what injured you. Do not answer rumor with rumor. Do not answer suspicion with hidden revenge. Do not answer feeling exposed by exposing others. That path will only deepen your unrest. Keep your hands clean, not to appear superior, but to protect your own heart from becoming shaped by what hurt it. There is strength in restraint when restraint is guided by clarity. There is also strength in a direct, calm word when one is needed. I will help you recognize which kind of strength this moment asks for. Precious one, when your thoughts begin to spiral again, come back to this. I know your full story. I know your motives better than the crowd does. I know where you have tried, where you have stumbled, where you have been misunderstood, and where you still need growth. Nothing about you is reduced to somebody else's version. That matters. Because one of your deepest fears is not merely being discussed, it is being defined by incomplete voices. But you are not held together by incomplete voices. You are held by a love that knows you thoroughly and stays. Loved one, listen to the gentleness in this next part. You do not need to win every room. You do not need universal approval to live a meaningful life. You do not need every person to tell your story fairly for your life to remain whole. There will be places where you are cherished. There will be people who understand your heart without needing performance from you. There will be relationships that are safe enough for your real self to rest in. So do not let one painful circle convince you that all human connection must be guarded. That would be too lonely for the heart I gave you. My child, there may be a conversation ahead. A simple one. A clear one. Not fueled by accusation but by sincerity. If that moment comes, I will give you enough. Enough calm. Enough discernment. Enough words. Enough quiet confidence to remain yourself. And if no conversation comes, if this is something that passes in shadows without a formal ending, I will still steady you. Closure is comforting, but your peace does not have to wait on it. That is important to learn. Peace that depends on everyone else behaving well will always be fragile. But peace rooted deeper can remain even when human tongues are careless. Beloved, rest from trying to read every signal. Rest from making yourself the center of every unexplained mood. Rest from the old habit of assuming that tension must mean you are the problem. Sometimes tension belongs to other people's insecurity. Sometimes it belongs to dynamics you did not create. Sometimes it is simply the noise of human immaturity. You do not have to wear it all. Dear heart, I know this has stirred something tender in you. So tonight, Be gentle with that tenderness. Do not mock it. Do not harden over it. Do not force yourself to stop caring instantly. Care can be wounded and still remain soft. That softness is not your flaw, it is part of your beauty. It only needs wisdom beside it. Sweet soul, even now, beneath the fear, beneath the guessing, beneath the ache of not knowing what was said, there is a steadier truth. You are still yourself, still worthy, still capable of calm, still able to move through this without becoming smaller than you are, still held beyond the reach of every careless sentence. So if your heart needs quiet, take quiet. If your thoughts need settling, sit with that settling. If you need to pause before deciding what matters, pause without guilt. I will not rush you. I will remain close while the noise loses power. And when the room in your mind finally grows still, you will find that your name is safest here, in the care that has known you all along, where no rumor can reach and no whisper can rewrite what is true. Amen. Beloved family, we continue this mission quietly, with faith, even when it is not easy. If God places it on your heart to support this work, you can find the link is in the description and comment box. Every small act of support carries this message forward.